She's all right when you get to know her. This is my podcast, and it takes you from your restrictive, toxic, life-limiting 9 to 5 into a life on your terms, full of freedom and flexibility as a self-employed virtual assistant. So whether this is your first introduction into the possibility of becoming a VA, or perhaps you've been doing a bit of Googling already, I'm going to get rid of the overwhelm, rid of the self-doubt, and show you that this life is possible. I've not just started this rodeo, you know. I'm Catherine Gladwyn, and I've been doing what you think is impossible since 2015. Shall we get started? Hello. I think we're on episode 31 now. I tell you what, I thought I'll probably be able to get about 10 episodes out of the podcast, and then I'll run out of things to say. But because I'm not one for small talk, but it just seems to have kept going, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying being able to share things with you. And this one was suggested, this episode was suggested by one of my team members, Lily Atwell-Rowan. And it's brilliant because, let me explain, right? So this episode is called VA Search and Rescue, Why You're Not Getting Clients. And what happens quite frequently in my free Facebook group is somebody will put a post in there and say things like, you know, I've done everything, I'm posting, I've got a website, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm engaging with people, but nothing's happening. And I'll ask a couple of questions sometimes, like, how long have you been doing it? And blah, 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 blah. And then every so often, probably, I don't know, once a month, once every couple of months, when I've got time to give free time, I'll do what I call a search and rescue. So I head over to their LinkedIn profile and their website, and I list all the things that they could change to help turn crickets into clients. So I came up with that myself, turn crickets into clients. I might trademark that, actually. I better check no one else has got it. I'll do that in a minute. And when I do one of these search and rescues, I always publicly share what changes they could make. And more often than not, the changes are quite similar, if not the same. So I think it was a brilliant suggestion from Lily for me to put this into a podcast. Me and the team worked quite a bit early on in this year to try and put something together where my team members actually go and do search and rescues for you, but we couldn't get it below 150 quid plus VAT. And it's a lot of money, you know, when you're just starting out. I mean, that's more than what the starter guide is currently. Yeah, I have to say currently because the price is going up. So I do them free every so often, but I can't do them that often because, you know, I'm running a business like you are. So being able to share the common results in a podcast will hopefully be something that we can forward people to, or direct people to is a better word, isn't it? So I tell you what is telling though, is sometimes I offer to do a search and rescue and I get crickets myself. I can see the person that's saying they're struggling, still responding to other comments on there, but completely ignoring my offer of help. I get that it's awkward, it's embarrassing maybe, and it is horrible getting feedback, isn't it? And I'm not one of them that will fluff stuff about either. I won't say, you know, your eyebrows look great, but you need to change your headline on LinkedIn. Instead, I'll just go, you need to change your headline. So I can be a bit straight. But I mean, we're all swimming uphill in life. So let me tell it straight. If you're going to try and cut corners to become a virtual assistant, you're not going to make it. Because all of the advice that I give in my search and rescue is in the VA starter guide or in the LinkedIn guide. And I've even now, as you know, got this trained ChatGPT guide to write all your social media content. So there's no excuse really. And I'll tell you what, right? One of the main things that is hindering you getting inquiries is something that I bang on about all the time. And you just ignore me. And I don't like to say it, but I told you so. Now, there have been a couple of people, like I said, more than a couple, over the last year or so that have said that they feel like they're doing everything that is recommended with regards to marketing and audience building, but they're still not getting inquiries. And I offered to do search and rescues for them, and neither of them took me up on it. So I am going to use their accounts today and their profiles and their websites today to do some live feedback, but I won't be naming them. I will be giving them fake names and I won't be giving away any information that identifies them. So if while I'm doing this, you think, oh my God, she's on about Sarah Cox. I'm not. You will have no way of knowing who I'm on about. And if I make a slip up of a name or something like that, I'm the one that edits these podcasts, so I can change it. Right, shall we get going? Now, I just want to clarify that I am not calling anyone out. I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong. My aim is to help people realise that this does happen. You can be a virtual assistant. You've just got to do certain things. And like I said a minute ago, if you're cutting bits out or cutting corners, it's either not going to happen or it's going to take a lot longer. I mean, if you were going to learn to knit, could you do it without wool? No, you couldn't. So keep listening because, as usual, I have some solutions to the things you may be finding hard or not doing. Or maybe there's some things that you were doing and you've forgotten. Right, now remember, this isn't to shame. This is to just show you exactly how some really tiny tweaks can equal big results. Okay, so I'm going to call her Caroline. And I'm going to start on Caroline's LinkedIn. So I'm opening up now. So Caroline she feels that she's been doing everything she possibly can to get clients and she's been promoting herself, but unfortunately she's not getting any inquiries. She's got one client that she's managed to get, but it's not enough. And she's probably going to have to go back to get part-time work. And we all know that once you get into that, it's difficult to get yourself out of it again, because unless you start making changes. So it is with pleasure that I look at her account. I just wish she'd taken me up on my offer, because there are just some tiny changes she needs to make. So I go to her LinkedIn profile and immediately she has niched very, very narrowly. And she's niched to a sector that have very limited budgets. And they also have teams and staff as well. So they are going to struggle to justify the expense of a virtual assistant, even though we know that it is more cost effective to have a virtual assistant over an employee. This sector that she is targeting is really not going to want to move on that as we are in the world at the moment. So she's also very, very small on her services. The services are CRM admin, event promotion, and community communications, which is like newsletters. So not only is she niche into a very small sector who are really unlikely to need virtual assistants on an ongoing basis, if at all, she's also limited her services to services that the sector may not need. So she would be so much better not niching. She would be better. I mean, her services are amazing, but it's not going to work with that sector at all. That it is. I know people that work well in her sector, but they're not offering what she's offering, and they don't niche to it. They expand their sector niche. So it is a no-go at the moment for what she's doing. My advice is to really look at the sector. Now, I don't know where it comes from, but I know that, I mean, it works for some businesses, but you've really got to think when you're niching, who am I alienating by niching to a certain sector? If you're niching to, I'm going to make something up here, landscape gardeners, you're alienating every other business owner. If I was to find, or if I was looking for a virtual assistant that could perhaps manage my MailerLite account for me, and I found one, I loved, the way she writes and everything. I went to her website and it says MailerLite support for settee makers. I'd be like, oh, okay. So she doesn't want to work with me. Yeah, she's great at MailerLite, but only for people that make settees. Have a real think about limiting yourself. So back to Caroline's profile. So I'm going to look at her contact info. And there is a website. Brilliant. We will have a look at that in a minute. Oh, the website's loaded and I can see a problem already. Okay, so Caroline also has 167 connections. It's not enough. Not enough. And I can see that we've got mutual connections. So some of those connections are going to be virtual assistants, I would imagine. Let me just have a look at some of her connections. Yeah, virtual assistant, virtual assistant, virtual assistant. So it is the wrong, that isn't the sector that she's trying to niche to. So it's too many of that. She needs more connections. You need to be building your connections every day until LinkedIn says to you, you've reached your limit. Fine. Okay. I'll restart again in a bit. You constantly need to be building an audience. I'm recording this just after I've had my sale. And so that means a lot of people have bought my products. So I now need to start building my audience again. I need to be doing it on a greater level. But every month, part of my strategy is to build my audience. And I do that in a number of ways. And you can do that too by engaging and connecting with people, contributing to Facebook groups. It's all in the VA Starter Guide. Okay, so in her about bit, it's written really well. It says what she does and there's a call to action, how to get in touch with her. But again, it is all dedicated to that niche that she's got. So I'm going to have a look at her activity and see what she's been posting. So she's reposting stuff from a business account who she doesn't work for. And it's absolutely nothing to do with virtual assistants and nothing to do with her sector niche either. And she's just reposting their stuff. So if that isn't marketing, that's promoting somebody else. And you don't do that when your own oxygen isn't covered. So I don't know why she's doing that. She's reposting lots of stuff. I'm trying to find something that she's posted about herself. I've gone back a month now. She's just reposting other people's stuff. And this is probably why she didn't accept my offer of a free search and rescue. Okay. Now, 2 months ago, I found something that she hasn't reposted. She has just posted it herself. So let's have a look to see what that says. I'm not going to read it out because I might identify her. It's kind of talking about having people around you that support you when life gets messy. It doesn't then lead into, it's nothing personal in there. It doesn't lead into what she does as a virtual assistant. So it got lots of likes, it got some comments. Yeah, and then straight back to reposting other people's stuff. She's not talked about what she does at all. How can people possibly work with you if you don't tell them what you do? And I'm going to dramatically pause there because it is just, you can't avoid it. You've got to tell people what you do. And I don't know, it is embarrassing. It is frightening because you think people are going to perhaps laugh or judge or something like that. They're really not. We all started in the same place. So, right, she needs a strategy there. She needs to talk about what she's doing personally. She needs to talk about what she does as a virtual assistant. And she needs to stop reposting other people's stuff because it's nothing to do with her. She's not employed by them or anything. So I'm going to look at comments as well, what comments she's been making on other people's posts. So she's commenting as well on the things that she's reposting. And I believe they are her ideal client. She's commented on a VA's post. That's okay. Just don't do it too often because you are effectively promoting yourself on their post. Yeah, she's commenting on her ideal client's posts for sure. So she's doing that well. I like that. And I think she's doing that quite regularly by the look of it. I'm not going to go all the way down, but, usually when I do these, I find that they've been doing a few rounds of engagement and then they don't do any for a month, and then they'll do a bit more and then they do. You've got to be on it all the time. Half an hour a day on LinkedIn, do it. She is again commented on the same virtual assistant's post. That virtual assistant's going to get a little bit annoyed because you're not her ideal client. Okay. So what I do want to say, like, I never fluff things, so I'm going to try really hard. But her logo on her LinkedIn headline, that banner thing, I love it. And it is a beautiful picture of her as well, Caroline. Okie dokie. So that's that. She has her virtual assistant business at the top of experience, and she's got her logo there and it links to a business page. Brilliant. So onto the website. As you open the website, it's clear, it's clean, it's not too over the top. It says virtual assistant, helping sector niche, get organized, stay visible and in control. And then immediately it goes to contact me. Why is somebody going to contact you? What are they going to do? What are they going to ask? So what we need to do is put, virtual assistant is absolutely fine. And then you need to put helping whoever it is you help with, and then list your services. Because at the moment it says helping XYZ get organized, stay visible and in control. That can mean anything. That could even mean like coaching or something like that. Not everybody knows what a virtual assistant is, and no two virtual assistants offer the same things. Well, I'm sure they do, but you know what I mean. We all offer something different. So the first thing you need to do is grab whoever's on your website in the first few seconds, is probably 3 to 5 seconds now, to let them know that they're on a website they need to stay on. Because if not, people just don't scroll, especially on mobile. They just haven't got, or they feel they haven't got the time. I'm exactly the same. And if I go on a website and it says, do you want 10% off? I'm like, I want to see what you sell first. And then there's another pop-up. You always get the bloody cookies pop-up anyway. Got to have them. Then do I want 10% off? No, because I don't know what you sell. And then what's the other thing they like to do? I tell you what, the Marks and Spencer's website, you go on there, let's have a look at that cardigan. Have a look at that cardigan. 1,700 people have just bought this. Bought what? I can't see it because you've got banners on there telling me that Sarah from Lancashire has just bought it. I don't care. I just want to see it. I'm not saying this website's got that on. It hasn't. I've just gone off on a tangent. So, Caroline, you need your services there. I have to scroll down to find the services. I'm not going to do that. People aren't going to do it. There is a services tab at the top, but on mobile, you would have that hamburger menu, and you can't easily see my services unless you click on it. So I go straight onto the services page and it says schedule a consultation. Why? I clicked on this page to find what your services are, and it says schedule a consultation. And then it says, I started my virtual assistant business because I believe, blah, 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 blah. Over the years, I've seen, blah, blah, blah. That's why I've chosen to support. What? I clicked on here for your services. It has to tell me what your services are. And it is a brilliantly set out website. It really is, as in clean and clear, but it's not flowing properly. If I click on a page that says something, I want that something. So if I was on Amazon and I wanted to order paintbrushes, if I clicked on paintbrushes, I don't want to see toilet seats. Think of it like that. I don't want to click on services and be told to, or invited to schedule a consultation. It's too no. So before I scroll down to see the services, there's another button that says portfolio. And portfolio what? Let me do that. I click on it. It opens a PDF and takes me away from the website. It didn't open a new tab. If I'm on mobile, I've lost the website. So I'm on desktop, so I can go backwards. So if I scroll down, which I wouldn't on mobile, and I probably wouldn't as a service user on desktop, because I'd have been pissed off that I've got everything but services when I click on here. So I can see the services and it's wonderfully laid out. And she doesn't only list the services, she explains what those services are. And she's done that really well. It's not ambiguous and it's not full of corporate speak. She's done that brilliantly. And then I go down and it says pricing. Pricing should be on its own separate page, because if somebody's gone to a services page, they've gone there for the services. If they have gone there for prices, they want to find prices. They're not going to go to a services page and hunt around for pricing. So the pricing needs to be on its own unique page. Now, I have got to the pricing section of the services page, and it says ad hoc support, contact me. Monthly retainers, 5, 10 or 20 hours each month, contact me. Project support, contact me. So where there's no prices, I'm not going to contact. Nobody's going to contact. If they are, it's going to be somebody that doesn't realise how much a virtual assistant costs, and they will question your rates and it will make you feel shite. Now, why haven't you got your prices on there? I'm going to go to another virtual assistant's website who has got their prices on there and get in touch with her so that I don't have to have an awkward conversation. So if I click on contact me, it links straight to email. Got to get out of that. Quit mail. I hate bloody mail on the Apple thing. So that isn't good at all to have no prices on there. A massive, massive put off. So I also saw a tab for special offers. Now, I've said this before, we are not DFS. So offering a 2-hour inbox detox for £30. That's £15 an hour. So how can you justify, because I'm going to hope to God that your hourly rate is at least £30 an hour. So if somebody gets in touch to work with you ad hoc or on a retainer basis and you give them your price of £30 plus an hour, they're not going to go for it, because you'll quite happily do a 2-hour inbox detox for £15 an hour. Now, I know that people charge at least £100 for an inbox detox. So people that know that are going to look at this special offer and think, why are you only charging 30 quid? Why is it £70 cheaper than other virtual assistants? Do you not do as much? Do you not do it well? Are you not very good at it? And this has also got a money back guarantee if not satisfied. It should say satisfied, but it says satisfied. So it's not, it really shows that you're not confident. We don't do money back guarantees. We're running a business. You have to be confident in what you're going to do. You've said here what's included in the inbox detox, and that's what you're going to do. We don't do that. We don't do that. And also, this schedule a consultation enables them, they can, it says book a discovery call, but it goes to a Google form. So they're not actually booking a discovery call. They're not actually, no, it says book a discovery call. You're not. It's opening up a Google form. And so again, they think they're scheduling a consultation, but they're not. They're being asked to fill in a form. So I think most people know that I say get rid of that book a discovery call off your website and just invite people to email you. And then you can find out exactly what it is they need help with, because otherwise you will get people wasting your time. But nobody wants to fill in a Google form to, in inverted commas, schedule a consultation, because then they've got to wait for you to read that form, get back to them. It's too much. Especially when there's another VA that's got her prices, her services page actually lists her services immediately and easily makes it a breeze to get in touch with her. So I'm just going to check your contact me page, email me, book a call. I'll click on book a call. It's not. It is just going to that Google form again, and also opens in the same tab. So on mobile, they've lost your website. But on the contact page, you're also inviting them to sign up to a newsletter. It's too much. The contact page, you want them to contact you. So we just want the email me. I hope that, as you're listening to this, everybody, you're kind of nodding and thinking, of course, yeah, it is. Or you're thinking to yourself, brilliant, I've only got that on my website. Now, this isn't in any way to dismiss the brilliant work that Caroline, not a real name, is doing, because I could sit here for much longer telling you all the brilliant things on her website. But the way I am as a person, it is better in my mind if I tell you what things need to change in order for you to turn crickets into clients. Told you, trademarking that one. Right. So, Caroline, that's what she can change. Now, I am going to look at the other lady's account and I am going to call her, what am I going to call her? I'm looking up the road to think of a neighbour's name. Jenny. I'm going to call her Jenny. So, right. Her headline, straight away. Actually, do you know what? I'm on her LinkedIn and I'm going to just say it straight away. She has niched again to a sector that is massively limiting her options and who also don't have much disposable income at all. I'm not going to say what it is because it'll give it away. And I have told this person 3 times that the niche is a massive problem, but she won't listen to me. Okay, so the headline on LinkedIn, it's what's just under your name. So her name is Jenny Jones. Her name's Jenny Jones. And underneath it says supporting niche businesses with admin, social media, and much more. So where in there, in that headline, does it show that you are self-employed and will be working with a variety of business owners, that you're not an employee, that your headline doesn't reflect what you do as an employee? This is why, as much as you may not like it, you've got to use the word virtual assistant. We need people to know that your LinkedIn profile isn't just a reflection of what you do as an employee or that you are looking for employment. So that needs to change. Contact info. There's no website there. There is a view my services page, a button, that you can click on, which is shit because, and I mean, LinkedIn is shit. So I'm going to click on request services and then you get the drop down, admin, social media, and the other stuff. I'll press continue. Please describe your project and what you need. When would you like this project completed? Would you like to receive more proposals? No, they don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. They want to look at what services you offer, what it is you do. They may not know when they want it completed. You're pushing people away with that. It's too much. And also I can see that she's got price in here starting at £20 an hour. A lot of associates get more than that now. That is not good for you. You're not gonna, I know that this person really wants to leave employment, but if people are paying you £20 an hour, you're not going to be leaving employment very soon because you're going to need to work a lot of hours to replace your full-time income. Yeah, that is disappointing to see £20 an hour. Again, people are going to look at that and go, well, hang on a minute, because I've seen VAs are charging on average now £35. So why is she so cheap? Is she not paying tax? Is she not got insurance? Is she not as good? All of these things go through people's heads. And I was pretty sure this person had a website, so I don't know why I can't find that. Okay, so I am looking at the About section and it talks about who she supports. It talks about what she does. It is very, very nicely written. But there's no call to action at the bottom. So I've no idea how to get in touch with her. Okay, so I am going to look at her posts that she's been doing. Okay, so the first one talks about how she's doing a degree in a subject that is not associated with being a virtual assistant. So if somebody wanted to work with her as a virtual assistant, that would massively put them off because they're thinking, okay, so once you've done your degree, you're not going to be wanting to serve business owners as a virtual assistant. Business owners want to invest in us in a long term. They don't want to keep changing virtual assistants. So if you're not in this for the long haul, then people aren't going to want to invest in you either. So while this degree is absolutely incredible, it is wonderful, because I know this lady has loads going on in her life. It would have helped if she'd have said, this degree will aid my virtual assistant business, or I will continue to be full-time in my virtual assistant business, or while you're doing the degree, or, something like that. And then 3 days ago, she said, I'm thrilled to officially launch my virtual assistant business. And then we've got nothing for a year, and it is another launch of her virtual assistant business. And then prior to that, it's just, it's going back like 4 years and stuff like that. So she has promoted her business twice in a year. I know a lot of you are nodding now. And this isn't a shame. It's just a highlight. This lady put in my Facebook group that she has been doing LinkedIn and everything, and, doing everything that she's been told to do, but she's just not getting any clients. But she's not doing everything that she's told to do. I know it can feel like this is hard work, but you've got to do more than 2 posts in a year. So I'm going to see what comments she's been making on other people's posts. 8 months ago, she commented on something, and then 3 days ago. Her comment 3 days ago was, let me see whose stuff it is a potential for her niche, and it was a wonderful comment, sorry. And then there was there was something 8 months ago as well. So I don't need to expand on that. So I'm going to go down to her experience. Now, her experience at the top is administrative assistant, full-time for a company. So as an employee. And then under that, it says virtual assistant. So the virtual assistant bit should be at the top. It's also not linked to a business page, and that looks so much more professional when it is. So I'm just going to click on that. I would move that up to the top. What I'm trying to do is find like an email address or something so that I can try and find website, because I'm pretty sure she had a website. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the number of connections she's got, but it's less than 70. Right, let me see if I can find her website. Do you know what, right? Where I've given her that fake name, I was just typing in that name, the fake name, instead of her actual name. So nothing comes up on Google at all. And this is why, for search engine optimization purposes, you need your full name on your website, like your own name, because looking at that, it should have come out. Oh, what's it under more? No. Let me have a look at her posts and see if that one that was a year ago has got a website on it. No, such a shame. I could have sworn she had a website. Maybe she's taken it down. And there my search and rescue has to end. You've got to have a website. You honestly have. Unless you've got somebody that's got a massive audience as one of your clients and is happy to share who you are and what you do with their audience. And I'm talking tens of thousands. I'm not talking 28 people, tens of thousands. Then you need a website. And even if you have got somebody that's got tens of thousands of followers and can recommend you to all of them, you still need a website, because if you no longer have that client, or you do something wrong for that client, they're going to let all their followers know. But as you can see, there are a lot of similarities between them. Niching to somewhere that just isn't going to want to afford you, and then having services that niche are sort of unlikely to have. Charging too little. It's a massive, massive red flag. And also, if you're charging less than other virtual assistants, it will have a detrimental effect. You don't need to reduce your prices to get clients. In my free Facebook group, as you have heard me bang on loads of times, we often get 5 or 6 job ops a day in there. These virtual assistants that are offering these associate roles are getting inquiries, and they're getting them because they are promoting themselves, and they're not charging less than £30 an hour. So if you're charging less, it undoes the hard work that those of us that have been in the sector for so many years have been working hard to bring up to the magnificent average at the moment of £35 an hour, and it can only go up. You're not going to get clients at £15 or £20 an hour. If you do, I can guarantee they are the worst kind of clients. I've been there. You've also got a question, or I do anyway. How are you paying for your insurance and your software and your tax and national insurance if you're charging so little? Yeah, there's so many similarities, and I didn't talk enough about the headline on LinkedIn, but it must really say what it is you do and for who. Now, something else also I've just remembered is make sure that your profile settings are set to public, because sometimes your settings may only allow your connections to see your posts, to see your profile picture, and that is going to hinder your growth or your audience growth. So make sure that anybody can see your posts. It's not like Facebook. You're not going to be putting on there that you've got, I don't know, catheter to sell or something like that. Yes. So it's not going to be like that. So let me just take a look at my notes and see. Yes, the other thing, right? Did I mentioned it in the last podcast, so I'm not going to mention it again. You'll have to listen to the other podcast, the one before this, but it's about the open to work circle. It's about the open to work circle. Yeah. Yeah. You need to be engaging with others and not heavy on engaging or connecting with virtual assistants. Now, I've been called up a couple of times over the years. People have got nasty with me and said, I will connect with virtual assistants. I will comment on other virtual assistants posts because I like to support other people. Collaboration over competition. I know that. And I support people as well. A VA trainer and I are constantly talking on Facebook Messenger. I support other people. But what I also do is I help you become a virtual assistant. And I know that if you spend all your time commenting on other virtual assistants' posts or only connecting with virtual assistants, the algorithm's going to say, oh, right, she wants to just add virtual assistants in her circle. And they're not going to show your post to your ideal client. They're not going to show you the posts of your ideal client. And you also will start to annoy the other virtual assistants because they're trying to market themselves to their ideal client and you're coming on and promoting yourself. There was this woman once and she was having trouble getting clients. And she said, I'm engaging with people and that. And I looked on her LinkedIn and all of her engagement was on other virtual assistants' posts. And she was dropping her website link on there. It's not engagement. Honestly, I'd never seen anything like it. It did make me laugh. So let me just check my notes last time. Okay, so an immediate thing you could do right now is just go and check your LinkedIn headline and make sure, and I think it's the first 78 characters are the ones that can be seen from the main feed. So make sure those first 78 characters don't call you a virtual ass or anything like that, and make sure that it's showing something that wants people to, or your ideal client, small business owners, to want to click and find out more about you. Okay, now I've mentioned a few things in here, and I've got my LinkedIn guide. If you're stuck on how to use LinkedIn to get clients, then that has got some wonderful feedback. And if it's the content that you're struggling with creating, because I know it's scary, then take a look at my Train ChatGPT course, because I think you'll love that as well. So a quick win that you can do straight away, go and change your headline. And yeah, let me know if there's anything you think I might have forgotten. It's podcast@catherinegladwyn.co.uk. And apologies if my voice is a bit croaky. I don't know why that is. If you're ready to reclaim your independence, then subscribe to this podcast because there is so much I'm going to give you. Oh, you got to subscribe on your favourite channel, it says. What channel? I ain't going to be on the BBC, am I?